Hello and welcome to Finextra TV. I'm Alex Lippic. You join us here in Lisbon for EBAday 2024, and I'm delighted to be kindly joined here in the studio on the sofa by Sheri Brandon of Worldline, and we're going to be talking all things instant payments. Great to see you, Sheri.
Thank you, Alex. Nice to be here.
Day two, what a fascinating event it's been, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's booming, zooming, on various topics, but everybody's, as always, happy to see each other. EBAday is a very condensed event, and you meet your friends every time again.
And a real buzz to it, which I love.
A buzz, absolutely, to various topics, which we will discuss now.
Exactly. So let's start by setting the scene, Sheri. What do you identify as the biggest challenges faced by financial institutions and PSPs when implementing instant payments for the first time? Let's start there.
Yeah, so various challenges, around 5-6 that I will mention. The first of all, of course, the timelines, right? Short timelines with the first compliancy being already 1st of Jan, which is in like 7-8 months from now. And the second one, so the first one is receiving instant payments, second one, sending instant payments by July next year. So times, of course, is the most important challenge, whereas banks already have a lot on the plate, right? They have various other regulation projects. So, having the resources and the money to do, again, another compliance project is then the second challenge. Now, of course, with new within the regulation, new requirements coming up, like verification of payee, which is a completely new solution. Banks have to implement that one. They have to look how it fits within their whole process. The fact of banks having to be instant means that they have to be online 24/7, and looking at the way they manage their back offices now. That is not always real time 24/7. So this low latency also requires, the windows they have for maintenance and reporting, for example, in the middle of the night, they have to reschedule that. They have to look at how to do that whilst being online 24/7. So that's definitely one of the challenges. And then, of course, we have liquidity management. Liquidity management is very important to banks. And now they have a very predictable flow with knowing that the batches are coming in. And now it becomes instant. So predicting when instant payments come in and having the liquidity at the right moment, it's a tough job. So that's a big challenge for banks.
It is a tough job. There's a lot involved, a lot that goes on behind the scenes. That leads me on nicely to my next question, Sheri. How do these institutions successfully manage this implementation, do you think?
What we see is that there's a difference between banks that need to adapt and need to adopt. So banks who need to adapt already have instant payments, but obviously, having implemented instant payments way back, it doesn't comply with the regulation as it is now. So they need to adapt, and obviously they have their own challenges. What we see is that they look at implementing. First of all, they're on legacy, many of them. Okay, so that's an issue on their own. But then they have to add the new solutions like verification of payee, which becomes mandatory as well. Now, what we also see is that security behind it also needs to be adapted because of the instant, real time, all your fraud checks, sanctions checks, AML checks, KYC, it all needs to be instant as well. And then there's, banks who are servicing other banks through the indirect participants model, who then need to figure out how they will serve those banks, with their legacy batches, SEPA credit transfers. How will they service those indirect participants? And there are solutions in the market, like a batch coming in, you debulk the batch, then process them as instant. Then when it comes back, you bulk them again, and report a one single value back to the corporate. So those are for the banks who need to adapt. Then you have the banks that have nothing in place, so need to adopt. So and there it's a bit different. What we see there is that those typically smaller banks, tier 2, tier 3, they also have legacy in place, and they don't have the time to really do big transformations. So they look at tactical solutions, what fits in now, and they look at it more from a compliancy perspective. So let's make sure we are compliant, and then we do the fancy stuff later. And those banks also look at, the remaining part of being compliant, such as we mentioned, verification of payee. You have the customer screening, sanction screening, also in kind of a cherry picking model. So what do I implement in like a SaaS solution or license or cloud solution to make sure that we are compliant to the whole regulation?
Sure, really interesting insight. Thank you so much for sharing that. Some of the key words I picked up there is adapt, being able to adapt and adopt as well. So looking as best you can into the future, we don't have a crystal ball, but we'll try it. What future trends do you foresee within the instant payment industry, do you think?
Yeah, very important, because everything becomes instant. Also, fraud becomes instant, right? So security needs to be enhanced. So all your fraud measures, KYC measures, as I mentioned, we are talking to banks about that trend and looking at potentially using, fraud in combination with authentication and AI to enhance their current solutions, and making sure that they can be on top of the security and fraud that is becoming instant, right? So secondly, what we see is that with the implementation of B2C schemes such as EBAday and the Wero wallet, with those volumes coming in, instant will quickly ramp up. That's the expectations. And finally, of course, with global instant payments also being a very hot topic here at EBAday, we see that the one leg out is becoming, it's not mandatory yet, but very important. It's you can't have instant just within the euro. So one leg out, other currencies is the next big hot topic and trend.
Really interesting insight. Sounds really exciting as well, and it'd be fascinating to see how things develop moving forwards. But Sheri, we'll let you get back to this busy event. Thank you so much for taking your time to speak with me.
Thank you, Alex, and have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.